Good evening, 12:08 a.m. on the East Coast, 4/11 of 2025. This is a whistleblower production. I'm going to try to see if this will work right. If somebody will chime in the chat and let me know that you're hearing me, okay, that the sound is good. And why we do that, okay, we got a thumbs up. Let's try to pull a tab up here. And I'm blowing the whistle on this thing. It's let me try how to word this. The Department of Homeland Security, via the Real ID Act, via the birth certificate and the legal names that you'll read about here in this definition, and if you read about certificate and certificate systems and certificate policies and certificate management and certificate authorities, and the motor vehicles is involved, and the Department of Homeland Security. Oh, look, the birth certificate means the record related to the birth permanently stored electronically, physically, the state office of vital stats. Okay, some of the stuff that we know, right? Administration and what it is, what a trusted role is. Okay. I have a recorded interaction with the Department of Motor Vehicles informing them that I've committed perjury using the wrong date of birth on the driver's license, that the legal name that's on the driver's license is the legal name. The legal name. That's critical that you wrap your mind around this. The legal name has its own creation date called the file date or registration date. In fact, the research that I've done is pretty extensive, especially when Largus Brock, with a little bit of critiquing to the question, asked ChatGPT-4 about the organization name, which is the legal name, and off the birth certificates. This is Code of Federal Regulations. Said that the relevant date to use with the use of a legal name, organization name, because if you ask it organization names, it knows what you're talking about. It's the term that the lawyers use. It's a new term involved in the bankruptcy. But not to get off. The supervisor at the Department of Motor Vehicles told me, which I have recorded, which I've released. I guess I need to bring it to YouTube and see how long that lasts. As I showed them the birth certificates and the correct date that should be used with the legal name, as they agreed the legal name came from the birth certificate, and that's what that was on the driver's license. And I showed them the file registration date in relation to my date of birth. And this is now granted on a Gregorian calendar, which is also incorrect in using something they created, which is another trickery into their jurisdiction. You think not, you might want to think again. It's their calendar, not ours. You talk about not using the things that they use. Well, they got a lot of plausible deniability in their little arsenal. But the first step is the fact that we're on the wrong calendar. We're on the calendar they created instead of the 13-month calendar. And that's the fact, Jack. My true date of birth is 13/21 of the cosmic moon. You can look at the lunar calendar and look up in relation to the Gregorian calendar what your date of birth actually is. And this really sets apart what went on with the supervisor telling me, well, they say we have to use, your date of birth. And I said, well, who's they? And she told me the Department of Homeland Security, which here we are. Well, what is all this? The Department of Motor Vehicles and the verifications and the delegated third parties and the federal agencies and determinations by who? Homeland Security, that the state has not met requirements of this part. The federal agencies may not accept the driver's license and identification cards issued by the state for official purposes. So you have a collusion of the Department of Homeland Security telling the Department of Motor Vehicles that they have to use our date of birth under the penalty of perjury which puts us in a dishonorable adhesion contract, which also has us volunteering in their eyes to be the debtor and surety of their defunct pedophile infested corporation that rubbed elbows with, people like Jeffrey Epstein. DHS means U.S. Department of Homeland Security. You can't make this stuff up. I had an hour and a half conversation. Sadly, it didn't record. Don't know what happened there. But nonetheless, March 17th in the afternoon with a Gerard, can't make this stuff up, for an hour and a half, who claimed he was with the TSA. That's who they gave me to. But this is the real ID, people. Okay? And the real ID is being created through a fraud and not informing the holders or of any license at this point using a legal name, and the commingling of their date of birth. The lawyers, of course, are not going to tell you this, so they've committed malfeasance in every case they've ever worked within, because they never informed the man or woman, the client, as they like to call them in legal land, that they shouldn't be volunteering their date of birth for the legal name. But of course, that just wouldn't work out for them, would it? In fact, it's intently being done to assure that it's forced, that the DMV will not accept the correct date with the legal name being used on the driver's license, which puts you in their jurisdiction. Okay, jurisdiction, to challenge jurisdiction, you'd have to ask the Your Honor, what does the prosecutor have in his folder over there that gives him jurisdiction over this matter? They're the one bringing the charges, right? Then the clerk of the court is a step above whatever prosecutor's in the room. So in turn, what you have here is forcing a status on you, forcing an adhesion contract into play, allowing perjury for their advantage. This is a corporation that's operating way ultra-virus, way outside of the delegation of authority or power that they have to ask a man or woman to give their date of birth for that legal name is a crime. And that's evidenced by the file date, the file registration date that's on pretty much every birth certificate, certificate of live birth that has a date that is not the same as the day we were born, because the legal name was not created the day we were born. And for everybody that takes the time to look at their birth certificate and realize why the cops are out there, what's your name, what's your date of birth? They're looking for that commingling of date of birth with a legal name, and you're the volunteer for me to beat your brakes off. You're the volunteer to be the U.S. citizen. But if it holds true that the DHS is telling the Department of Motor Vehicles they are not allowed to use the correct date, even though I brought it in and asked for the correction, you have a collusion under color of law so massive of a profit scheme to make every man, woman, even children, I know, don't use that word, our sons and daughters who get driver's license at 16, minors, they're considered underage with the legal land. There really is, age is an age. That's all it is. It's a number. It's how long you've been here on earth. And what they've turned it into, though, is a means of limitation, and then mix in the fact that we're on the wrong calendar. We're using their calendar, which is a double downing of every time we use the Gregorian calendar date, we're placing ourselves in their jurisdiction. See, the trickery of getting you in their jurisdiction, it's bigger than most people want to come to terms with. And the fact that this federal corporation, which it breaks down in here, not only will you find federal corporation under Title 28, subsection 3002, but you'll also find here, I'm going to scroll to it, federal agency, executive departments, government corporation. Wait a minute, what word? Government corporation. An independent established as defined by 5 U.S.C. 105. I'm not even going to go look at that. But the federally regulated commercial aircraft, all of it, everywhere where this legal name is involved, that they're using to profit. Now, what does it say about a full legal name? Well, it must be an individual's first name, middle name, and last name or surname without use of any initials or nicknames. And what I'm going to point out for you here is for all of you, any of you ladies out there that are gentlemen, could be, that you're being told that you owe some type of recoupment to SNAP or TANF, take a close look at the name they're using. And then take a look at the Real ID Act and what it says about full legal names. And whenever you find them using a variation, a nickname, like your name could be Richard, but they want to put Dick, they've just changed and created a new child that has no birth certificate evidence of certificate in existence. In other words, they're using a variation of the legal name and getting and stealing the credits. Let me be blunt for you. They're stealing the credits. Everybody should be able to get SNAP because it's a federal program, and the legal name is for our benefit. And if you need food or you need some cash assistance, you just simply should be able to use that legal name and the file date, like I did. Yeah, and was collecting benefits the proper way, and now they want to cut them off. And now I've caught them using a variation of the legal name, which they don't want to answer to. And why? Because it doesn't exist on any certificate. And when you start reading this Code of Federal Regulations here, under the identity proofing and verifications and all the certificates and all of the things that are going on here, the mobile security and digital certificates and lawful status, this is a really, 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 really dirty deal that should be carried to your local school boards where you have your babies enrolled with birth certificates, legal names. It should be brought to the county commissions. It should be brought to the city councils. It should be brought to the attention of, it's a federal case now. We have Douglas Joseph being held over in the Clark County, Nevada jail, who's booked in under his file date. He's booked in under his file date. They're just making things up, trying to punish him for being out here sharing this like I am now. And I'm a little tougher to punish because I'm not getting mad about this. Let's make a federal case of this. This is a federal case. This needs to be answered upon. It needs to be known why we can't use the proper date of creation for the legal name that they have us using, that we're the holders of, that we're using for commerce. What is there a scheme and artifice? Yes, there is, to assure that the people are confused, and are confused so much so that they're unknowingly volunteering to be surety and debtor. Now, I can tell you that the credit bureaus will quickly correct the date for you, which is tied to the last four of the Social Security, which brings me to the Social Security Administration that's also involved in obtaining the real ID or the driver's license, which is a federal ID, being implemented by the state. In a collusion for profit of just unbelievable. I mean, look, there are people sitting in prison because they're commingling their date of birth with a legal name that haven't harmed anyone. Because you're a volunteer. Everyone in jail volunteered to be there. I don't know how many of you may or may not have heard that before, but everybody in prison and jail volunteered to be there. How could that be so? Oh, because they're volunteering their date of birth unknowingly, uninformed, no meeting of the mind, with a corporation that's stepping its bounds, like way over its bounds. And this is the Federal Reserve Corporation that's behind it all, and the creation of legal names. And then you can add in insult to injury to the fact that once that's done, now you're a U.S. citizen through the Social Security Administration, who should be knowledgeable enough to know that they shouldn't be commingling our date of birth with a legal name involved in their system and their organization. I don't know where Doge and Elon are, but I think this is a little over their, maybe above their pay grade, believe it or not. Maybe Elon would like to give me a call and we can have a talk about it in front of God and everyone, or whatever he believes in. maybe Donald Trump too, Your Excellency. I don't know why Alex Jones hasn't given Eddie Craig video of right to travel to Elon to give to you, so you guys can sit down and watch the fact that we have a right to travel, and we have unlimited credit because we're the beneficiaries under this Chapter 11 bankruptcy, but we're certainly not being treated that way. And so much so, we have millions of homeless people out on the streets, all because you guys have created a scheme to trick people into volunteering to be debtor of your corporation. That's called an unconscionable contract of unjust enrichment, because no one would give their date of birth for that legal name. Oh, and guess what? They're going to stop, and they're going to correct it with the credit repository, so you have no way to report a debt against them. This is the in-game scenario of your legal name scheme, because the DHS is informing and instructing the state DMV offices to not allow this correction to be made on these driver's license. Now, what do you have to say for yourselves? And I had an 1.5 hour long conversation. We got Douglas Joseph sitting in the Clark County, Nevada jail. We also had Cindy Smoley, who was held in the New Mexico jail, who had informed the clerk of the court 2 days previous of the correct date and had corrected it with the credit, began to make steps to correct it with the credit bureau. You see, folks, we're not supposed to be U.S. citizens, at the most U.S. nationals with a full allegiance to the United States government and not the corporation. As far as legal names to use, we should be able to create our own legal names to enter into commerce that won't put us in a voluntary or seemingly volunteering to be a part of this pedophile-infested corporate legal system of bar rats that are destroying everyone's life, along with the collusion of the Federal Reserve that created this whole mess, creating the inflation and deflation, the de-dollarization going on, the massive wars, the massive distractions, the propaganda, and the whole damn mess. It's all tied to what's in your wallet. I just hope you're following me here. Let me look over at the comment thread, see if anybody dare say anything. Loud and clear. At least we got that much. That's good. So it's up to you if you show everybody what I'm exposing here. Snap and Tanif is not using the full legal name. Where are they getting the legal name that they're using? Oh, they didn't want to answer that question. Yeah, I've said you're in violation of 6 code, the code of federal 6 CFR 37.3. You're in violation of the Real ID Act. You're in violation of the law. What are you using that minor account for? What are you doing with that new child in this legal name that doesn't have any certificate? Are you using the certificate I'm a holder of, the actual legal name, with a variation of a legal name? Yes, you betcha they are. What do you think Doge and all of them are uncovering, folks? But they aren't going to tell you this part of it. They're going to tell you dead people. No, those are legal names. Those are variations of legal names that these people can just whip up. They use them in the court systems. If you don't see your full legal name there on the docket, guess what? They're in violation of their own rules, which, nothing new, right? But this is a federal matter now. This is a federal case where Kristi Nomi, head of the Department of Homeland Security, needs to answer for what her agency is involved with in a collusion to mislead the public on the proper use of a legal name. And not only that, knowingly and accepting perjury to get a driver's license. Do you swear under penalty of perjury? Do you swear or attest under penalty of perjury all the information is true and correct? Don't you remember that part of it at the driver's license? Raise your right hand. and slap the bitch. Oops, I mean, do you see anything wrong with this, people? You know, Tucker Carlson over there, it's about the truth. It's about the truth. Is it? Well, we're not truthfully using the legal names. And in fact, the DHS is assuring that the order is sent down the pipe to the Department of Motor Vehicles. You only allow their date of birth on those driver's licenses and state IDs. Why is that? Because that gives the bar rats jurisdiction over your butt. And you damn better believe that if you use today's date, you're using their calendar. This is in the now. And then let's not allow it to escape us the massive negative energy that is being created by all of the millions and millions, billions, possibly trillions of people mistakenly lying, because that lie creates an energy that breaks you down, that harms you. I mean, really, this should resonate with anyone that has any knowledge of what is it? Frequency, vibration. It's affecting the world around us because of the evil entities that feed off of the negative energy being used every time a man, woman, or child, or son or daughter, let's not get into the children's, mistakenly tells that lie. Just because you don't know you're telling a lie doesn't mean you're not telling a lie. And that's what they want. That's what these evil people want. And to top off the fact that you're volunteering to be the surety and debtor for their pedophile-infested corporations that really, truly shouldn't exist. None of the legal names should exist in our lives. This whole mess shouldn't exist. But without tearing the entire system heart out, a simple correction of the date per the Department of Motor Vehicles, and there goes the bar rat's jurisdiction over you. That's gone. It's their own state-created legal name. They're going to bring charges against their own state-created legal name. How do they connect you to it? I'm telling you how they connect you to it. You give your date of birth, and you just connected yourself to it. Oh, on top of that, use today's date. Use their calendar. Go ahead, I dare you. This is a spiritual war. You know, we don't struggle against flesh or blood, but powers and principalities, the governors of this world. And Lombardo knows and Newsom knows all about this file date. They know all about Douglas Joseph. They're trying to stuff him away. They're trying to just bring made up false charges against him in order to stuff him away, but it does not matter. I've told so many people about this, and I'm shocked at some of the people that act like this is no big deal. They don't want to talk about it. They're scared. I don't know what they are. Doesn't matter. I don't want my sons and daughters being brought up to be liars so they can justify their ill treatment towards them and take advantage of them and make them tax slaves and economic slaves and roll out all of their mandates and policies and statutes, codes, and all of the madness that goes along with their corporate world of infested with pedophiles. Can't say, child molesters and very, very deviant people, because remember, they're keeping up the facade by using a legal name with their date of birth. And I dare you to ask any of these corporate actors, what's your name, your full legal name and date of birth? I'm not giving you my legal name. Oh, you're not? See that I'm Mr. Garcia on the name tag, or I'm Luis Garcia's on no, it's that I need your full legal name. Oh, they ain't gonna want to give that. They ain't gonna put that on their little name tag on their uniform. You bet they're not going to put that on there along with their date of birth. It should be included with their costume, but bless their hearts, they're caught up in the same mess. A lot of them don't know what they're even being taught to do, and hunting legal names and asking that question, what's your name, what's your date of birth? You want my name, or are you looking for a legal name? Oh yeah, a legal name. We're looking for a legal name. Oh, like off the birth certificate. Yeah, that's right, exactly. Yeah, your social security number while you're at it would be great too, because the Social Security Administration is involved up to their eyeballs in malfeasance, because they should be knowledgeable enough to know that they should not be commingling our date of birth with a legal name in their system. Oh, what does that amount to? You getting breadcrumbs from your own bakery. It's a trust. There's billions of dollars there. You're right, there is, but it's true. It's for them and any loss that they incur. And that's why the popular belief is you try to access the trust, you're going to get put in prison. You're right. They protect it with violence and force and fraud and deception. And the order sent down the pipe from the federal level to the state level to create these IDs and be sure to use their date of birth. So we got them by the short hairs. And if you people are not getting how simple this is, the date is right. It's right there on the birth certificate, on the certificate of live birth. It is accompanied with a wet ink signature. We have a federal case, so you can bring Trump into, Kristi Nomi into, Congress, legislature. You can bring the whole gang and line them up and ask them, what are you going to do about this? Why are you having the American people being duped into this mistake, allowing the perjury to take place as it's being called out openly on the internet? Here I am, baby doll, a free man. You got to blow this up, people. You got to take this to every level. You know, they video school board meetings, they video county commission meetings, they video city council meetings. You can take it on up the row. Scream it out at one of DeSantis's press conferences. Scream it out at one of the Trump rallies. Scream it out everywhere. Because that is what these people are doing. That is not voluntary. Because if you pose the question to someone, well, you can give us your date of birth and you can volunteer to be the surety and debtor of all this crazy shit we got going on. The taxes, the tax office is the same thing. When you do the mortgage application and you use your date of birth, you're saying, yes, I'll pay for the house, even though I just created all the credits. And people are missing this. I'm just like, what else could it be? Oh, and we're going to use your calendar to date this contract with. And if you don't think that date is jurisdiction, tell me whose calendar it is whose date you're using there in the agreement. I wonder how they would feel if you tried to use the 13 months calendar. Use the lunar date on the contract along with the full legal name with the correct date of birth. Wonder what happens. They know what happens. The lie starts to die and the negative energy begins to starve them. That's the adrenochrome. The adrenochrome is, let's see how many people we can get to live a lie. And then this whole system is nothing but blossoming lies. Do you have a bag of weed? No, They're going to try to lie and say they don't have something that they lawfully should be able to have, but because they're commingling their date of birth with a legal name that the state created in order to trick them into using the wrong date, because there's no instructions that come with this. Your ignorance is no excuse. That's what they ride on. So therefore, you must be volunteering to be under our rules, and you can't have a bag of weed, or you can't drink raw milk, or you can't go to work, or you got to wear a mask, or you got to take a shot, or you gotta. So I leave it for y'all to figure out here. Oh, identification card, social security number, biometric record, including digital photographs, signatures alone, combined with other personal identifying information and link to specify the date of place, the birth address, stored in a database. They are building massive databases all over the country right now on a driver's license or identification card. I'm telling you, machine readable technology on the license or identification card. You can't make this stuff up. The DMV is involved in a massive crime in collusion with the Department of Homeland Security, with the federal corporation. Yeah, with the federal corporation. Hold on, let me see. Yeah, reissued cards, state DMVs. Just a rich execution environment. What's a rich execution environment? Root certificate authorities whose public encryption keys establish the basis of trust on all other digital certificates issued by the state. They got a lot going on with a lot of certificates and root certificates, and yeah, you just can't make this stuff up. Oh, it's the Secretary of the Homeland Security. So you see, Social Security is involved, DHS is involved, the Department of Motor Vehicles is involved, and they're all involved in not allowing you to use that legal name correctly as the beneficiary. It's as simple as that. Come read it for yourself. There's a lot going on here. But most of all, they're allowing perjury to take place in order to set you up from cradle to grave to be their economic slave. That is what they are doing. Here, let me show you something else real quick while we're scrolling through this. I have to catch it. Yeah, let me roll up here. All right, let me start over here. Look, let me connect this for you with the Department of Motor Vehicles. PNC Bank wants 2 forms of ID to open an account. They want a driver's license, and you can use a vehicle registration as another form of ID. Although it doesn't have a picture of you. We need 2 forms of dishonorable contract to come in and open a bank account to create more dishonorable contract. No different than you register to vote using your date of birth. So therefore, they can just vote for you because you're incompetent and you don't even know what the proper date is to be using with the legal name that you're using to register to vote for one of their corporate actors in the election. It connects to everything. Okay? It connects to everything. It's definitely domestic violence. Okay, so we've established, it says the federal agency means all executive agencies, executive departments, a government corporation. Government corporation. And that's huge. It's a federal corporation. And they're telling you right here in 6 CFR that they're a federal corporation, that they're government corporation. A government corporation, federal agencies, executive departments, government corporation, independent establishment. You see, when this goes viral and it's realized the ultra virus constitutional tort that could be brought towards the entirety of United States LLC, used to be United States Inc., the United States Service Corporation, for being involved in this date discrepancy in the legal name and what implications it has on the holders, the unknown, innocent, just think they're doing the right thing, and never being told you're volunteering yourself and you're using our calendar too. I don't think I can. Did I say that already? Yeah, I think I said that already. I really don't know what else to say to you people, other than this has got to stop, and the only way it's going to stop is massive exposure. We watch these people run like cockroaches with the light turned on when this is pulled out in a county commission meeting. Can anyone explain to me why we're being asked to use our date of birth with these legal names that weren't created the day we were born, what would that make us if we do that? What would be the implications of that? See if they'll answer those questions for you. I mean, I already have. I've already answered them for you in this little presentation here. It's the same thing with the light company. Every time you contract using that legal name and their calendar, their date, today's date, you see how this thing, the web of conspiracy going on here to deprive men and women of their life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness by using violence out on the roadways to scare people into thinking they have to have a driver's license, and then getting them in there where they're being told they can't use the correct date with the legal name because that wouldn't work out for them. That would separate the man from the fiction real quick. Like, in fact, it already does. As soon as you hold the birth certificate in front of one of them and go, hey, you see what I see? And why are you doing that? Why are you using your legal name you're a holder of with your date of birth? Are you just a liar and a known liar, and you're just doing that to keep up the facade of those that are not a part of the club, as George Carlin said? Yeah, I think so. I think so. Anyway, a federal case needs to be brought against the DHS and everybody, top to bottom. Tucker Carlson with your, the truth is so important. Is it? The truth so important that we're being asked to use legal names with our date of birth so that we can unknowingly volunteer ourselves to be surety and debtor of these corporations, all these corporations, in collusion with the Social Security Administration, who's taking the information. Where are they getting the original information when you were a baby? When a baby is born today, where are they getting the original information from? Oh, yeah, the hospital, who's doing what? Colluding to create securities without licenses, and doing what? Providing information to Vital Statistics, because now they're involved, so you can bring Vital Statistics into the lawsuit. The whole thing's involved. The entire corporation is up for grabs at this point on a massive lawsuit because they won't allow us to move in commerce and truth and honor. They won't allow us to use the legal name properly. And that's a big damn deal, people. This is the biggest damn deal of any big deal of anything I've ever seen in research, period. And it sure beats sitting around bitching about the symptoms of this madhouse being created by the unknowing volunteer who's now labeled a U.S. citizen. By who? By the Social Security Administration. The Social Security Administration well knows that legal name wasn't created the day you were born. They know this. Why? Because I've informed them. Douglas has informed them. And I don't know how many of you would like to inform them. And I can tell you a lot of other people that went in. I tried to correct the date. They kicked me out the door. Yeah. Oh, did they? Well, because guess what? They should be knowledgeable enough to know that they shouldn't be commingling our date of birth with the legal name in their Social Security system. And they damn sure are a bunch of criminals that can go to Gitmo for creating variations of legal names in order to steal our credits. Across the board, light companies, phone companies, you name it. Anywhere that legal name and that Social Security number is used and they let you use your date of birth, they let you. No, you that's not the day that was. We don't need your date of birth. We need the date of the file date for the legal name. That's how big this is, people. I hope I haven't talked too much. I hope I run it over enough. The federal corporation is in big trouble when enough of us do enough just to expose it. All you got to do is expose it. Doesn't matter if you have a driver's license, don't have a driver's license. Well, if you have one, you have a grievance with the Department of Motor Vehicles, with the Department in collusion with the Department of Homeland Security. And this is exposed. The legislature Everything that they ever wrote that applied to a person. Well, how does it apply to a person? And what manner did I step into this mess? What did I do? Bingo, by NGO, BINGO, by NGOs. Yep. I was trying to point this out to people, as now the crimes being committed of the robbery, of the pilfering of the treasury by the NGOs in collusion with the, well, you can figure the rest of that out. These people, and the whole time abusing the American people to a point of just what seemingly is hopelessness. But I'm telling you, you need to go scream this from the rooftop. You need to bring it up at the schools. You need to bring it up everywhere, people. Stop sleeping at the wheel. If you're the holder of a legal name, we need to demand the proper date be used and that we're no longer volunteering for this. That's as simple as it is. You can correct it with the credit bureau. It's a repository, but the credit bureau, instantly. They're doing it instantly now. You call them up and go, I figured out I am lying and using the wrong date of birth with the legal name that's on the credit file, which is tied to the Social Security number, by the way. Social Security needs to be put on notice. They're on notice. DHS is on notice. We got Douglas Joseph being held at the Clark County Jail, booked in under the file date. They got a man booked in under the fiction using the proper date. Clark County, Nevada. It's a really big deal. He really shouldn't be there. They don't even have any evidence, but that doesn't matter. They're mad at him for sharing out this information with someone like me who's on YouTube here telling everyone you need to pay attention to what's going down. Cindy Smoley, who was held in New Mexico jail after she noticed the clerk of the court. What happened with Glenn Wayne Schreiber? You can go back to the other live feed where I'm telling you, let me show you how you're being made to live a lie at the benefit of the corporations. I get a little hostile in that one, so if strong language isn't your thing, you can skip it, but there's a lot of good information in there. I'm just trying to tie it back together with where we need to be, people. Okay? They want legal names, then we have to move in truth. And if you're a holder of that legal name and you are moving with it, with your date of birth, what are the implications? And you are a liar if you do. They need to be made to answer, folks. That's what's on the table. So I'll leave it up to you. I hope everyone has a wonderful evening. And I don't know if anybody actually came in. Oh, well, yes, thanks for taking action on this matter. Oh, born to be free. Yeah. Hey, listen. They have set up so many roadblocks where, hit the comment section, people. Look, I'm not trying to be a YouTuber here. I want to be really straight up with you. I'm not a monetized channel. I'm not looking to be some influencer. I'm going to make $1 million and live in a mansion because I'm trying to stop the most massive corruption I've ever discovered. I'm blowing the whistle that I've ever seen in my life. And the implications of the negative energy of all these people lying using that name every day. That's all that really matters to me. Most of all is to cut that negative energy, to end it. It has to stop. It can't be allowed to happen. We cannot teach our sons and daughters that living a lie is okay, because then we are feeding the entities that feed off of that lie, that negative energy. This is surely huge. And the spiritual implications of it, you're going over there to your corner 5013C every Sunday and Wednesday or 5 days a week, but you have a legal name and you're commingling your date of birth with it. You're lying and you're committing a sin and you're going to go to hell. And the people that created this system know this. They know this. Their job is to deny you the use. Yes, likewise, England birth certificate's the same thing. Canada's the same thing. Everywhere. Look, the 2030 agenda is to birth register everyone in the world. Okay, and not to mention what they're doing with the bio-digital convergence, forcing everyone. The smart cities are already set up. There's a great video. Maybe I can switch tabs. This thing sometimes just doesn't seem to want to do that. And I'll end it with something that's, wow. Things are jamming up here. All right. Let's see if I can switch here. Make sure on the lock screen. All right, there it is. It's showing. All right, that's good. We want that to show. Blow this up.
High-speed digital data transmission over public electronic power distribution wiring. BPL uses higher frequencies, a wider frequency range, and different technologies compared to other forms of power line communication to provide high-rate communication over longer distances. BPL uses frequencies that are part of the radio spectrum allocated to over-the-air communication services. What else is connected to the radio spectrum? Oh, the wireless body area network. Therefore, the prevention of interference to and from these services is a very important factor in designing BPL systems. There are two main categories of BPL, in-house and access. In-house BPL is broadband access within a building or structure using the electronic lines of the structure to provide the network infrastructure. Access BPL is the use of electrical transmission lines to deliver broadband to the home. Access BPL is considered a viable alternative to cable or DSL to provide the final mile of broadband to end users. So I hope you're starting to see that smart cities are not coming. They're already here. The infrastructure has already been built all around us excessively during COVID lockdowns, right? We've seen them out there putting in those new street lights. We've seen them out there putting up those 5G towers. We've seen the repeaters going up on the street lights. We've seen all of that. We've seen major construction happening within corporate buildings, brand new lighting systems, all up to date with the smart grid technology that connects to the global information grid. All right, we see it all in place. So what they've done is they've taken medical applications and they've built a global infrastructure to implement it within cities, within houses, within anything that is within this smart city grid. So by the time we move to this precision AI on an application on your smartphone device, medical AI health assistant, which is going to be your new doctor if you are middle class or you are poor class and you can't afford personal private health care, you're stuck on the government system, you're going to be using this completely new AI driven and ran electric drugging, all of that stuff. Precision AI surgery in your home, your personal kill box, which you are building with this VLC lighting system, all of the internet connection systems, and also biosensors being put within your smart home building materials now in any new homes that are being built or any homes that are being retrofitted and upgraded in order to meet smart city compliance and save some money on your hydro. Those are the buzzwords that they catch you with and get you to buy it, hook, line, and sinker. So this is where we're heading to, folks. The infrastructure is already here. It's just in the process of being implemented in slow incremental steps. So you don't see what's going on around you as they continue to propagate you with all kinds of fear propaganda on the media, wars, Hillary, Trump, Epstein, everything, LGBTQ, and it just keeps you guys running in circles looking over there when you should be looking over here at the things that I've just shown you in this video today. But unfortunately, most of you guys still won't grasp it after this video. I know a lot of you guys have so far. I'm hoping a few more of you guys will after this video. And please go down to the description and find all of the direct source documentation, everything I spoke of in this video, just like every other video that I've ever done in the past 3 years. Okay, so the smart city agenda is not coming, guys. It's here. It's just in the process of being deployed and implemented through legal policies that they already are creating through the bioeconomy. All right, guys, so why is nobody else telling you about this? Why is me and Sabrina Wallace, some disabled lady from West Virginia, and some dad, Rumble Dad, from Canada, who found out about the biodigital convergence 2.5 years ago and has been screaming from the rooftops about it ever since, and then finding everything else that connects to it, because the biodigital convergence is the agenda. It is the Agenda 2030 that ultimately the IEEE and the International Telecommunications Union, United Nations, please do your research. ENF Achilles is at the forefront of, has been at the forefront since 2G, all the way through up until now, implementing 5G, 6G, and coming 7G, which is going to be your AI personal healthcare assistant on your personal device. No more doctor, no more going to the hospital. The hospital is now in your home. And this is the infrastructure that is already there. It's already in place. It's just being turned on now. 15-minute cities aren't coming, folks. They're here. So stop talking about it like they're coming. Do your research and start explaining to people the technology behind it and how it's going to work. Because once this is fully implemented, expect by 2025 to 2027, that's where it's going to be the most implemented. They need this election to go through first in 2024. Okay? 2025, you're going to start hearing all the buzzwords about telemedicine, and then it's going to start with that, and then it's going to go into AI precision health medicine through your phone. By 2027, they expect to have it all implemented. By 2030, they expect to have everybody that's going to be on it to be on it. You're trusting AI with all of your health needs. You no longer have a personal doctor. You no longer have a nurse at your bedside. None of that stuff exists for you anymore unless you're on the rich class. And that's where it is heading. We are already heading there. Laws have already been implemented. Policies have been changed. All of the infrastructure is in place all around you, also including inside your home. How many smart devices do you have? How many LED light bulbs do you have inside your home? All connecting to your Wi-Fi. Stop and think about it and start doing the research and start explaining to people, and stop just the fear propagation of telling people that, yes, you're going to be in a digital prison. This is not a lie, but if you just keep saying that over and over again and you're not explaining how the digital prison works, what are the technologies that are going to implement this digital prison? How are they being implemented right now as we speak? Look around. You see 5G LED streetlights everywhere. Most of them were installed during COVID lockdowns. You see 5G towers everywhere. You see 5G repeaters on top of buildings everywhere. And you'll notice it's mostly public housing buildings and old age home type of buildings and schools and corporate buildings that people are shopping in. You see the 5G repeaters on top of all of them. They're being paid rental value to kill their people with these 5G towers, the radiation that's coming off of it. And then you're getting radiation from the infrared and also the visual light communication constantly going on around you. And the wireless body area network that's connecting it all to you. Intra-body. So let's stop playing games and let's also just start doing our research instead of just regurgitating what everybody else is saying out there. And then let's get up and show our research. There's a few creators out there that are doing it, but not enough. So many people just keep regurgitating things that they see and things that they hear. And they don't provide no documentation to prove anything. And then they get, when they got 50,000 people following their platform, there might get 5,000 people that are going to continue to regurgitate that crap that doesn't prove anything. There's no source document. Look in the description. Everything I post, every day that I post, all the source documents are there. That's what sets me aside from everybody else. I hope you guys do your research, because we got to stop living in this fantasy world where 15-minute cities are coming. It's already here. Being deployed. It's already being implemented. Laws are being changed. Policies have been changed and continue to be changed. With royal assent, not even being voted on within Parliament anymore. So that means your parliamentary representatives, they don't represent you. And you, the people that are supposed to be controlling these parliamentary representatives, have no voice anymore. They just do it with royal assent. Screw you. And this has been going on for a couple of years now, folks. Get with the program. Wake up, because there's a lot going on around you. Just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not going on. They've taken these healthcare systems and they've now gone global, and they are building a healthcare ransom that the state will hold you ransom, whether it be your universal basic income or you can't get further healthcare until you uphold the requirements that they have for you to be able to take part in that healthcare system and have your healthcare needs taken care of, unless you're rich and you can afford private healthcare where you will see an actual doctor.
Now, let me connect the dots for you here. All right. How can they feel justified doing something of this magnitude? Could it be the fact that pretty much everybody is an ignorant, walking, talking, ignorant liar using a legal name? You see, once they can classify you as a liar, your life no longer has any value. You're a liar. You don't even matter. You don't. Let's take it to a spiritual connection. You're not receiving God's protection. You're not receiving creation's protection. You are taking part in creating a massive negative energy field and feed to the negative entity, the rich, negative entities that have done everything this man just talked about. See, there has to be a justification in their eyes to be able to dish out such abuse. And what better way than, here's a birth certificate. Go ahead. Go use it. Go get a driver's license. Go enter into contracts. Go out there and get your hunting license, fishing license. Go out there and apply for loans. Go out there and get your lights turned on. Get a cell phone. Please register using that legal name dishonorably, because we will steal your credits. On top of, we can create legal names in variations that we're not supposed to be creating, and then use your legal name to create those variations that we can steal your credits, that we're always the ones getting paid the credits of the beneficial position of the organization name created by the state. And it just gives us our justification to burn you with our microwave weapons, lock you in our smart cities. For those of you that are slow, and I'm going to give you a crash course in where we're at. Go watch the movie Gamer with Gerard Butler and ask yourself, do you want your sons and daughters to be one of those living video game characters that you see being played out in this movie? This is a pedophile's dream world. Go watch the movie. And if you try to get outside the smart city, they'll show you what happens when the prisoner runs away. Luigiano, I can't even pronounce his name, is the one that decides to try to get outside of the smart city. And Gerard Butler, when he's being used as a full control living video game character in battles, and he tries to go outside of the battle zone, the smart city, see what happens. The dust, they're sprayed all over the place. Well, now they're playing hero. We're going to put a stop to this. Yeah, because we've already done what we needed to do. Now we can look like the heroes putting a stop to it. It's all a mass distraction from what he's sharing with you. I hope Sabrina Wallace and 420 Vaxxer can reach out to me so I can show them the connection of the justification in the eyes of these people wanting to feed the entities that they serve, because that's what they're doing. And they're serving you up. Why? Because they got you living that lie using that legal name. And that's a really, really big deal, people. This is the justification to mistreat you, to kill you, to use their wide body area network to remotely control your body. They can take your daughter and get her to just come with them. I know it sounds too science fiction. Go watch the movie Gamer. So you have to connect what's connected to you in the commerce. And this also involves the blockchains. Let's not leave that out. The KYC, know your customer. Can you hold a picture of your driver's license or your passport up? And that is an all caps name on the passport. That's a legal name. I don't care who wants to argue it. I don't care what Foreign Affairs Manual 505.2 says about it being a known as and given name. I just broke that down and you can go read it for yourself, in 6 CFR 37.3. They need the assurance that everybody's caught up in a lie, whether they know it or not. Please stay ignorant so we can feel justified using all of our new toys and technology to do whatever we want to you. And we don't have to worry because you're a liar. And a liar doesn't deserve any protection. A liar doesn't even deserve to live if we decide. And I want you to realize what kind of people, I'm not going to say it on here. You can figure this out real quick. They own the Federal Reserve. They own BlackRock. They own all the biggest, richest, all the corporations, all the control. Please keep living this lie using that legal name so we can be justified in doing whatever we want to you. I mean, your sons or daughters, go watch the movie Gamer and look at the possible future ahead if we don't figure out how to shut this whole thing down. And I'm telling you, the truthful, honest use of the legal name requires the proper creation date of that legal name, and it's not our date of birth. And then we need to get off their calendar. Okay, these are 2 steps to make. You get off their calendar. And I tell you, Trump brought back halogen light bulbs for a reason. See, everyone's at risk, people. Everyone from top to bottom is at risk of this technology being used against them right now. That's when you see Mitch McConnell shut down, and you see all these people, they just kind of just shut down. They're just like a robot. Like someone's like they're just not even alive. They call it a dead fiction for a reason, because your use of it, commingling your date of birth with it, makes you the walking, talking dead. Hope we're not getting too oogie boogie for you. I'll end it with that. Everybody have a great evening. Oh, hey, what's up? Comments, yes. With this in mind, the applicant of the driver's license, an example, is the state-created name on the birth certificate. Yes, it's not yours, and it ain't liable for it in their system. Yeah, Born to be Free. To address that, you see the violence they use against people that don't have a driver's license trying to use the roads out there who truly have a right to travel. Eddie Craig did a 4-hour video on Alex Jones, who should be showing it to Donald Trump, but they're just not interested in looking at that. Like, they're certainly not going to be happy about the connection of the grand lie that justifies them using the technology that's being exposed here. I'm trying to connect this all for you. We have got to turn the negative energy off. And these people need to be held accountable for allowing perjury to create this negative energy. And then we need to get off their calendar. Pro tip is to send a notice of rescission. No, it doesn't work. They still keep the driver's license in their system, and they'll pull up an old driver's license. They'll create a variation of the legal name. They'll create a new child right there on the side of the road. It happened to Douglas Joseph. Snap and TANF are not using full legal names. They're creating another minor account and using it to steal the credits. Same thing with the light company. You better start taking a look at all the variations of the legal names on your credit file. You better start looking at what they're actually sending you as a legal name and question why I'm showing you 6 Code of Federal Regulations, subsection 37.3. The information that they are creating and also using to verify in the Social Security system is all a massive fraud. Again, when a baby is born and the Social Security Administration, vital statistics all start colluding together to work, they should well know they shouldn't be using our date of birth with that legal name. So I'm putting the burden back on them and showing you that you have to expose this. You have to share this with your family. You have to show this to your sons and daughters. And when you whip that birth certificate out, it's very telling when you see that file date and go, dang, I never noticed that other date. What's the implication of that? And wait a minute, I know the implication of that. This guy over here on YouTube, Law Docs, is telling me what the implication is. You're lying. You're in perpetual dishonor. They're going to use your sons and daughters like living video game characters to do some really sick shit. Go watch the movie Gamer. Y'all have a great evening.